going to get those birdies? Are they teasing you? You're going to get them. You're going to get those birdies.
Hello. Welcome to my first writing vlog of 2026. I'm recording this part on a day that's not a writing day, but I wanted to record this yappy intro bit and touch base before the writing day, so that way tomorrow I can just jump right into it. So just gonna touch base with where I am at with Project Hyacinth so far. I was doing a lot of research. There are so many things in this story that I have to learn about and teach myself. There's a lot about this project that still feels very overwhelming because there's still so many question marks with it. I started it mid to late November of last year, and then I didn't really work on it in much of December because I was focused on the holidays. So I would say I've really only been working on it for like a month and a half. And I'm sure there are some writers that by now they would already be starting the first draft and they would have a ton of headway made, and that's not me with this project right now. I'm still brainstorming, still planning, still figuring out what the heck I'm doing and what it's about. This channel is not just documenting the process of this specific project, but also just me trying to learn a writing process in general that works. Anyway, so I was doing some research. The problem that I was encountering while just researching is I was being very directionless about it. I wasn't doing anything in a specific order, and I wasn't focused on why I was researching that certain thing. So I would be learning something that I know I would need to introduce myself to at some point, but my problem is, one, I think I was getting stuck in the weeds of it because I didn't know how much of what I was learning would actually be relevant. And two, I wasn't identifying what was relevant. You know, I'm learning these things and taking notes and going, okay, I know how this works now. But then I wouldn't take it and apply what I just learned to my story. How does that tie into my plot? How does that tie into my character backstory? Yada yada. And because I wasn't applying it to my story, I didn't feel like I was being creative for a while. I wasn't coming up with creative ideas. So I was thinking, okay, that's not work. Just doing research, and very unfocused, not targeted research at that, was starting to have diminishing returns. So I was going, let me just change direction a little bit. Let me change what I'm working on. So what I started to do was make an outline, not capital T, the outline, just a rough concept of a first draft for an outline. I thought if I could break down what I know into smaller pieces, it might give me more of a sense of order in which I should do certain things. Like, you know, okay, chapter 1 is supposed to accomplish this, but here's all the things I don't know within this chapter. So at least I know if I want to work on the beginning of the story, here's what I need to learn. I don't know if that makes sense. I think I got up to chapter 4, and then after that I was like, I have no idea what happens after this point, and I'm not even married to the idea of what I had in those first 4 chapters. So I wanted to go back to the brainstorming stage, trying to think about the beginning of the story as just a starting point. In order to know how this story starts, I need to know where my characters are at the beginning of the story. What is their job? What does their daily life look like? How did they get to where they are now? So I was starting to focus on at least 2 of the protagonists' backstories because they are close friends at the beginning of the story, and I need to figure out how they became friends, what kind of relationship they have, what is their dynamic in the beginning of the story, what is their role in the world, etc. I was chipping away at that, and I did feel like I was making progress. I had one of those ideas where you're writing and you get a little bit stuck, and then you go, because you thought of something that's really exciting. That's always a fun feeling. But then I was writing it down and going, I don't know if that actually works, but I'm gonna write it down anyway because it's the first idea I've had in a while. Like I said, I don't feel like I've been very creative with this story lately. That's basically where I am now. I've been rebuilding my writing routine by I haven't been getting up as early as I was before the holidays, but I'm still trying to get up early enough to fit in at least an hour in the mornings of writing time. But I've been getting very frustrated only doing a little bit of time because I just want to really chip away at all of these things I need to figure out. So I would really like to have an all-day writing day. It's not going to be today, if not tomorrow, probably this weekend. And then something I want to do during this writing day is I've been doing everything pretty much digitally, mostly in Notion, which is working. I do enjoy using Notion, but because there are still so many question marks and so many statements that start with maybe, it's getting a little messy. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to get on paper, and not even in a journal, like loose paper, where I can dump out a bunch of ideas and bullet points and plot ideas and everything, and physically be able to move these pages around to literally draw connections between stuff and just help me visualize things a little better. I say this with some false confidence because I've never actually done this before, and I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do it. It's just an urge I have because it is so messy right now. I need just a space where I can be messy, and even if I don't like anything I come up with, at least if I know what doesn't work, that narrows down my options and will help me find what does work and what I do like. That's my plan, and I keep forgetting how huge writing a book is, and especially when I've never successfully done it before. It's very overwhelming and it's very intimidating, and it's my imposter syndrome is just absolutely running wild, and I'm attaching a lot of pressure that doesn't need to be there, and it's going to be a rocky road figuring it out, but I want to believe that I can do it. It might take me a long time. I may have a crappy product when I'm done, but if I can at least have a product, then I can prove to myself that I can do it, and then I can learn how to do it better. That's pretty much where I am. And the next time you see me, I will be wearing a different outfit because it'll be a different day. To you, it will just be the next moment in this vlog. To me, it may be tomorrow, it may be Saturday. Regardless, I will see you then.
Did that birdie tease you? You can't even get him, he's outside. What are we going to do about those birdies? Are you going to get them? Oh my.
Sorry my lighting is perpetually terrible. It's what I have. I'm doing the best that I can. I don't know how I feel about this jacket. It's very scarecrow chic. I don't like that the buttons rattle. I think that's super annoying. Oh, it was cute on the hanger. I thrifted it. You try it on and you're like, I don't know if it works on me, you know, but I have it, so I'm gonna wear it. Anyway, today is Friday, January 30th. I recorded the intro to this video on Tuesday, Wednesday. Even if it's not the whole day, I'm gonna at least give myself a lot of extra time to spend on writing today. You saw in the beginning, I was doing some research again, first thing in the morning. I did that for maybe like half an hour. It was supposed to be longer, But I got distracted. It was pretty outside and it was cold, but the snow was like all sparkly and just birds twittering because we have the bird seed out. The snow rainbow was super cool. I love winter. I'm sorry. I know people get mad at me when I say how much I love snow. I'm sorry. Like, it's just how I feel, okay? We can't choose who we love. Anyway, I did some research, a little bit of research, and it was getting overwhelming again because, like I said, there's just so much I don't know, and there's so much that I don't know, you know? So that was how I started, just because it was a little more casual to begin my writing day. Now that I've gotten dressed, I've eaten, I am going to try to focus now on some actual story stuff, some plot, some character things. I'm gonna do it on paper. I think I said about that in the beginning, but I'm not entirely sure how I'm gonna do it and what it's gonna look like. If it doesn't work out for filming, I will at least try to go over what I did or how it worked or didn't work for me when I tried it. I just kind of want to jump into it now. It's 10, what is it? It's 10:15. I really hope I can make some headway today and get some ideas. And even if I don't like any of the ideas, at least identifying what I don't want is one step closer to learning what I do want. So it should still be productive. So here we go. I've been working at this for not quite 2 hours. I said I was going to be messy, and I have been messy. I think I've made progress. I was coming up with ideas that I hadn't thought of before, but they are not fully fleshed. But I'm like, here's a vibe. I have the vibe of an idea. There's a lot of moving pieces. It's hard to talk about because I don't know how much to say about the story itself in particular, because it is still so early in development. Anything could change. There's this intrigue element that the main plot is supposed to be around, but there is a mystery subplot that I feel like has to tie into the bigger picture, and I just can't quite figure out how to do that. It's like you dump all the pieces out, but some of the pieces are flipped over on the back, so you can't even see what's on them yet. You might have some pieces that are a little more obvious. Here's a corner piece, here's an edge piece, but then you have some pieces that are all the same color, but just a different shape. You're like, I can't know where that goes until I figure out what goes around it. Is that a good analogy? I have a mess here. I don't know if I have an effective system the way I've been doing it so far. This whole like loose paper and moving stuff around and color coding, this is all something I've never done before. I'll have some lunch now and maybe a little matcha, and we'll see where the day takes us from there. Good morning. Today is Tuesday, and I last touched base with you on Friday, which was supposed to be like a big writing day, but I didn't really get as much out of it as I thought I would or as I hoped I would, but that's okay. That's gonna happen because I don't know what I'm doing. But I just wanted to touch base again to tell you where my head's been since Friday with relation to this story. I didn't really do anything over the weekend, but this morning I was doing a little bit of free writing. I don't count that as drafting, it's just part of my brainstorming because a lot of times I will get flashes of dialogue or just a line of description about something, just little pieces of inspired thought that I want to latch onto and try to work with while I have the idea, even if it's super foggy, even if it doesn't really make sense yet, and there's so much context that I have no idea how to make this piece work, but it's inspiration, and I don't think it's a good work ethic to wait around for inspiration, but when you get inspiration, I think it's great to capitalize on it as long as it's there as much as you can. So I keep saying I'm getting overwhelmed because I don't know where to start and I don't know what to focus on because there's a lot of pieces to this story that I'm trying to figure out. But what I have remembered is something I actually said in my very first writing vlog, is that I still don't know what exactly the main conflict is in this story, which is kind of embarrassing because it's like I've been working on this for almost 2 months-ish. I don't know what the main conflict is or what the true antagonistic force is, which means I don't know what my characters are gonna do about it, which means I don't have a story. That's what I need to focus on, and basically where I am with it is, so it's cyberpunk genre, right? Very commonly in the genre, everything is super high-tech and futuristic, but commonly there's a central piece of technology that a cyberpunk story is around. Altered Carbon, I just finished reading, as you have the stacks. That story would not exist without that piece of technology. Before Altered Carbon, I read Idoru by William Gibson, and I would say the technology in there is the virtual idol and the existence of her and what the implications of her existence are. The show Pantheon, if anybody's seen that, it's animated, it's a very good show. You have the uploaded intelligence, the UI technology that whole story is around. So I have a piece of technology that my story is supposed to be around, and the conflict is around this piece of technology, but I have not figured out exactly what's going on here. This technology that is meant to be very altruistic, that is meant to benefit mankind and to solve a very real problem that exists, but there is something nefarious going on with it. I do not know if the technology itself is just through its nature inherently corrupt somehow. I do not know if it was intentionally designed to have some kind of ulterior flaw under the guise of altruism, or maybe it was created with integrity, but there are people outside of its development that are somehow managing to pervert the use of it and capitalize on it for more personal gain, for power, money, fear, whatever, classic reasons to abuse something that is meant to help people. Or maybe there's some intricate combination of all three of those, or pieces of all three of those, that I could put together and have something even more complicated. But that's pretty much where I am with that right now, and I need to decide which of those ideas I want to go with. My problem with writing sci-fi is I worry I'm not smart enough to tell a story like this. I worry that I'm not going to be able to learn what I need to learn to make this make sense. You know what I mean? Like learning relevant technology and terminology and doing something that's believable. There's a fear that I made this idea for this technology, but what if it doesn't make sense? Or what if it's redundant? Does something like this already exist? Is something like this already in development? I still need to perfect the nuance of this technology, and I need to establish if there is like a real world solution to this problem. I need to either adjust my idea for the technology, or I need to additionally come up with a world building thing that negates the real world equivalent so that my idea makes sense. I don't know if that made sense. I have associated the word writer with my identity my entire life. And yes, I have written many, many words, but I've never really told a complete story from beginning to end with all the plot holes in the middle filled. And I'm trying not to concede to that imposter syndrome. It is something I'm fighting with, and it is something I'm trying to ignore and just push through, and it's okay that I'm still figuring things out. I'm gonna get there. I have to believe I'm gonna get there because it is very important to me to be a writer. It is very important for me to figure out what works for me to tell the stories I want to tell. Anyway, my next writing session, I think I'm gonna get back to paper. I still think there's benefit to switching between computer and paper. It's a way to literally look at it differently on a different format and having more of a tactile analog approach alternating with something more digital. I think just they each have benefits, and for me personally, I benefit from doing both. Maybe some people have to do everything on paper and some people have to do everything on the computer. I like both. I like switching between them. My next writing session, I think what I'm gonna do is each of those 3 examples I gave of what the conflict could be. I'm just gonna write each one on a different piece of paper, and I want to brainstorm for each of those ideas to really pin down what I feel has the most potential or what gives me the most ideas, what makes more sense for my characters in the world. That's the plan for my next writing session. I keep focusing, here's what the core story needs to be. This is the conflict. This is what I have to write about. But I'm focusing on all these little pieces around it, the world building and character backstory and this and that. But none of this matters, or I at least don't know what of this matters until I know what this is. How do I know what's relevant if I don't know what the story is? Because otherwise it's really just vibes still at this point, and I need to come up with something more substantial with that to really begin making progress. You're learning my process as I'm learning my process. It's gonna be messy, it's gonna be chaotic, it's gonna be directionless for a while. I'm doing my best. I'm trying to be patient with myself while still enjoying the process, because if I'm not enjoying writing, then I'm doing it wrong. I will touch base with you once I begin making more progress on that front. Good morning again. Today is Wednesday. I keep jumping around in this vlog, and I could probably be doing some fun little editing tricks like wearing the same outfits so it all looks like it's the same day and it's a little more cohesive, but I don't know, why not be transparent? I'm jumping around a lot because I'm jumping around a lot. I've also been very chatty in this vlog, but I want to make today a writing day, like a full writing day. I had the idea of trying to make one day a week a writing day, and Wednesday just seemed like a good day to do it. I don't know, just it's very arbitrary, maybe because writing and Wednesday both start with W. Got myself a little breakfast smoothie. It's not really smoothie weather, but we got a new blender and I got excited. It looks disgusting, but it's not that bad. There's spinach in it and I'm gonna get spinach in my teeth. Nobody make fun of me. I've had like a weird start to this writing day because I did not do my early morning routine with it. I kind of just got up, but I did take an earlier shower, and then I started to watch a couple of other people's writing vlogs to get a little more in the mood and maybe get some ideas about how other people are brainstorming, because I'm still trying to figure out how to brainstorm. And I like watching writing vlogs, but I have the tendency to watch too many at a time, so I was trying to limit. I think I only watched 2 or 3, and then I have to cut myself off, and then I have to do my own work, because there's a little thing called the inspiration loop where I will watch other people's writing vlogs, or I will try to make a playlist, or I will be on Pinterest. I'll watch like a piece of media, like a movie or somebody, like a game playthrough that I want to draw inspiration from, and I keep referencing these things, and I'm like, I'm looking for inspiration. I'm gonna get inspired. And then I just keep scrolling and consuming and clicking, and it's like, oh, I'm inspiration farming. And it's like, even if I'm getting inspiration, if I just keep clicking, I'm not using the inspiration I'm getting, and therefore it's kind of useless. So when I'm looking for inspiration, I have to set a limit, especially with other people's writing vlogs in particular, or any kind of productivity vlog, because it's like I'm seeing somebody else be productive, and then I feel satisfaction by proxy, even though I haven't done anything myself. Anyway, so I've already been yapping a lot and I don't have much new to say yet. I really want to get into my writing because I haven't done much progress with it, and I really want to make the most of today and see how a Wednesday writing day works out for me. I'm just gonna try to jump into it. I have been trying to figure out what the root of the problem is, or where the conflict starts, the origin of the problem my characters are trying to solve. I had a few options in mind, and I eliminated one of them because I realized it contradicted a motive I wanted to use for one of my characters. So I have a smaller list of options, but what I'm struggling with is things need to connect. It's possible not everything has to connect the way I think it does. There's red herrings, and maybe there's just some flavor text, or maybe some things are just transitional and I just need a certain character to help me transition from one scene into the next or something. But I don't want too many loose ends. I don't want too many irrelevant subplots. Everything needs to mostly tie into the bigger picture. I am trying to figure out what those connections can be, and it's very imprecise. And I'm doing it on loose pieces of paper, and I'm switching pages for different trains of thought, and I don't know if it's really helping or not, but I'm thinking what I might do is make a list of all of my characters. I was working on just my protagonists, but I'm gonna try to make a list of everybody I can think of, even if they're not named yet. I just roles that need filled in this story, and try to draw lines, either literally or figuratively, between them to figure out what everybody's connection with each other and or the plot and the conflict and the antagonists or whatever. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna format that. I'll just start with the list, and then, I don't know, I could maybe do some kind of like bubble chart or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still trying to figure out how to figure out what to do. At least the gears are turning, and I'm coming up with ideas, or I'm eliminating ideas I don't like. So it's technically progress, I guess. It's just, I really don't want to end this vlog until I feel like I've accomplished something and made I've figured something out. I'm gonna keep going. It's 10 after 11 now. I will probably go for another hour, and then I will take a lunch break and see where I'm at. Okay, so not even a full hour later, I feel like I actually got somewhere, which frankly I was not expecting. You saw me literally trying to draw these lines and connections between things, and it was very messy and imprecise, but I could feel the engine trying to kickstart, and I was like, something is here. Let me just take these little pieces, move them around, and see what makes sense and what I can try to make sense, and stuff just started to click. Some of the ideas felt almost like they should have been obvious from the beginning. Then some of the ideas contradicted ideas that I had already had that I thought I was committed to. I know that at any point in the process anything can change, but I didn't think there's like the one character's role. If I go with this new train of thought and this new list of ideas, his role is completely opposite of what I originally thought it would be. But if that's the idea that gives me more momentum for the overall story, then I'm okay changing that expectation, especially because it's so early. Like, I shouldn't be committed to the first thing that came to mind. That felt more productive than I expected. There's still a lot of details to figure out and a lot of particulars that are very foggy, and I have more connections to make, but there's a bigger picture clarifying itself here, and that's very exciting. I was typing up the notes I came up with on Wednesday. I was just throwing them in a spare Google Doc for now. I have my Notion page for this project, but I wasn't really sure how to categorize these notes yet. They're a bit chaotic, and so I just wanted to do them in like a digital scrap paper, and then I could try to build on them from there and then eventually organize them a little better. As I was typing them up, I was identifying there are some hitches in these new ideas that I need to problem solve if I stick with them, because I'm not 100% sure I will stick with them. In the moment, it was very exciting and exhilarating to be like, I have ideas and I'm connecting the dots and I'm telling a story and yippee. But then I come down from the adrenaline high and then I'm thinking about it and I'm like, does this actually make sense? Does this work? Do I even like this? I have to do some more reflection on these new ideas and comparing them to the previous ideas that these new ideas would be contradicting, and maybe there's a way I can compromise between them, or maybe I have to think of something entirely new again. But that's where I am now, and I thought I would just go ahead and end this vlog here because I've been filming it for over a week in pieces and I haven't even started to edit it yet, so I have no idea what kind of mess this vlog ended up being. Maybe it won't be that bad, but I know it was kind of all over the place. It would probably be so much more efficient if I could find a way to get one vlog out of one day, but that's just not how it's worked out for me so far. But whatever. I'm figuring everything out. I'm figuring out this story, I am figuring out writing in general, and I'm figuring out how videos work. Join me for the ride, if you will. The brainstorming phase for this project is probably going to take forever, and I know I don't have to think of every single detail and identify every single element and twist, and there's gonna be discovery writing involved eventually, but I do believe I need to figure out at least some of the key things before I can even begin drafting, because I had thought for a little while I could even try to write chapter 1 just to see how it goes, because I thought I was sold on a specific set of circumstances to open with, and then I come up with these new ideas Wednesday, and if I go with this idea, then this would make me have to change that entire chapter 1 anyway. So even if I had started writing it, I would immediately have to scrap it. Or maybe not scrap it, but I would have to write an alternative anyway. So I'm nowhere near ready to draft yet. I don't know how many vlogs I can get out of just brainstorming. It might start to get a little redundant. So again, I think we're gonna end this one here. And I guess I'll just wait to film the next one until I'm in a different spot, maybe, and I feel like I've made some more progress. I'm still trying to stick with my goal of at least one YouTube video a month, which feels doable right now, but I'm already thinking ahead to like spring and summer when there's gonna be some like changes in my personal life that I might not even be able to do that much, but it's fine. I like doing it when I can. It's still fun to do, and I really appreciate anybody who's watched any of my videos, or if this is your first video of mine that you're watching and you've watched it all the way to the end, I appreciate you very much as well. I'm really bad at outros still. I feel weird doing the whole like, comment, and subscribe thing, because I don't know, I feel it feels so artificial. I don't know, I'm not like, I don't feel like a YouTuber yet, you know, this is just so casual hobby for me. But hey, if you want to do any of those things, I'm certainly not going to stop you. Thanks again for watching. I will touch base with you in the future when I have some new updates for Project Hyacinth. Wish me luck, and I will wish you luck in whatever projects you're working on. Feel free to tell me what you are working on. Feel free to tell me what parts of the writing process work for you. What techniques help you make progress, you know? Maybe I could take some advice from other writers. All right, I have a lot to do, so I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.